They never warned you about this war. Not the one fought with guns or borders, but the silent one, waged every morning before your feet touched the floor. A war between what you could become and what your mind whispers you should remain. Most people lose this war before breakfast. Not because they are weak, but because they are untrained. Your mind is a powerful servant, and a ruthless master. If you do not command it, it will command you. If you do not discipline it, it will sabotage you. If you do not aim it, it will drift, pulling you toward fear, comfort, excuses, and the slow erosion of your potential. Every failure you've ever witnessed, personal or historical, began here. Not with a lack of talent. Not with lack of opportunity. But with an undisciplined inner world. Napoleon Hill wrote that the mind attracts the things it dwells upon. But he didn't mean it like a slogan. He meant it as a law. A force as real as gravity. Whatever dominates your thoughts eventually dominates your life. And here's the truth most people refuse to face: they are not thinking their thoughts are thinking them. Look around. Brilliant minds trapped in average lives. Dreamers exhausted by self-doubt. People with fire in their chest, numbed by routine. The betrayal always begins subtly. A hesitation. A rationalization. A quiet voice saying, tomorrow. And tomorrow becomes a habit. A habit becomes a character. And character becomes destiny. Edison failed thousands of times not because his mind betrayed him, but because he trained it not to. When the world told him he was wrong, his mind did not panic. When failure appeared, his mind did not retreat. He had learned to command it. To focus it. To bend it toward persistence instead of despair. Your mind, left alone, will seek comfort over growth. Certainty over truth. Familiar pain over unfamiliar possibility. That is the betrayal. The mind magnifies fear when vision is absent. It invents limits when purpose is unclear. It clings to the past when the future demands courage. And most people never realize this because they mistake thoughts for facts. They assume because something feels real, it is real. But feelings are weather. Thoughts are tools. And tools must be wielded, not worshipped. You were not born to react. You were born to direct. Lincoln commanded his mind in an era of chaos, ridicule, and national fracture. He was mocked, defeated, dismissed. But his inner posture never bent. He understood something timeless: if the inner world collapses, the outer world soon follows. But if the inner world is fortified, no external storm can overthrow it. Clarity is the first act of command. To decide who you are, and who you are not. To choose a direction so deliberately that doubt has nowhere to hide. A mind without clarity becomes a playground for fear. A mind with clarity becomes a weapon. Purpose sharpens thought. Vision organizes chaos. When you know why you exist, distractions lose their power. Opinions lose their grip. Comparison dissolves. The noise fades. This is why men like Carnegie and Ford were not shaken by criticism. They were anchored. Their minds were aligned with a purpose larger than approval. They did not wait to feel confident. They commanded confidence through disciplined thought. Belief is not hope. Belief is not wishing. Belief is a decision reinforced daily. Your mind will challenge you the moment you choose something meaningful. It will ask, who do you think you are? It will replay old failures. It will borrow voices from the past. This is not sabotage, it is a test. And tests are passed by those who refuse to negotiate with weakness. Discipline is not punishment. It is protection. It protects your vision from distraction. Your energy from waste. Your future from your present impulses. Every great achiever learned to say no, to comfort, to excuses, to the seductive pull of average. Not because they were superhuman, but because they were self-directed. Gratitude stabilizes the mind when ambition threatens to turn into anxiety. It reminds you that progress is built on appreciation, not desperation. A grateful mind does not rush blindly, it advances deliberately. And when life shifts, as it always does, adaptability becomes the final command. Rigidity breaks. Flexibility evolves. The disciplined mind adjusts without losing direction. It bends without surrendering. This is the difference between those who rise and those who repeat the same year over and over with different calendars. Your mind will betray you if you let it wander. But if you command it, if you train it daily, direct it relentlessly, and anchor it in purpose, it becomes the most powerful ally you will ever have. Because the moment you master your inner world, the outer world has no choice but to respond. And that is not motivation. That is law. And understand this, commanding your mind does not mean silencing it. It means choosing which voice gets the authority. The weak voice will always speak first. Fear is fast. Doubt is loud. Comfort is persuasive. But truth waits for permission. Most people never give it permission. The disciplined mind learns to pause. To observe a thought without kneeling before it. To ask, is this useful? Is this true? Is this aligned with where I am going? If not, it is dismissed, without drama, without argument. You don't debate a distraction. You replace it. This is how inner strength is built, not in moments of applause, but in silence, when no one is watching, when you choose focus over impulse. When you choose long-term vision over short-term relief. History doesn't remember those who felt ready. It remembers those who acted while afraid. Walt Disney was fired for lacking imagination. That betrayal could have ended him, if he had allowed his mind to accept another man's verdict as truth. But instead, he commanded his inner narrative. He refused to let rejection define reality. He rewrote the script in his own mind before the world ever saw it on screen. Your mind is a storyteller. Left undirected, it tells stories of limitation. Directed with intention, it tells stories of inevitability. Action is where command becomes visible. Thoughts without action decay into fantasy. Action without thought collapses into chaos. But when thought and action align, when belief moves the body, momentum is born. Momentum changes everything. It silences doubt not by argument, but by evidence. One disciplined action creates proof. Proof builds confidence. Confidence fuels more action. This is the upward spiral most people never enter because they are waiting to feel different before they move. But feelings follow leadership. And leadership begins in the mind. Resilience is not toughness. It is mental recovery speed. How fast you return to center after disappointment. How quickly you reclaim direction after failure. The commanded mind does not linger in defeat. It extracts the lesson and moves forward, unburdened, unbroken. Every setback is a negotiation. The undisciplined mind negotiates with despair. The trained mind negotiates with reality, and reality always respects clarity. Learning keeps the mind young and dangerous. A stagnant mind becomes arrogant, brittle, defensive. A learning mind remains adaptive, curious, hungry. It understands that mastery is never finished, only refined. And here is the paradox: the more you command your mind, the more peaceful you become. Not because life softens, but because chaos no longer lives inside you. The world can shake. People can doubt. Circumstances can change. But your inner posture remains firm. This is what it means to be unshakable. You stop reacting. You start responding. You stop chasing validation. You start executing vision. You stop fearing time. You start using it. And slowly, without announcement, without noise, you become someone your past self would barely recognize. Not louder. Not angrier. But clearer. Because the greatest power you will ever possess is not money, status, or influence, it is self-command. The ability to decide what you think, where you focus, and how you respond, regardless of circumstance. When you command your mind, fear loses its authority. When you command your mind, discipline feels like freedom. When you command your mind, purpose stops being a concept and becomes a direction. This is the line that separates leaders from followers. Creators from consumers. Architects from spectators. The mind will either be your greatest weapon or your most dangerous enemy. And the choice is not made once. It is made daily. In silence. In repetition. In resolve. Command it. Or live betrayed by it.